Gorman today. No show tonight.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed, the television edition. It is a brand new year. It is January 2nd, 2013. We are here, of course, at the QCnews.com studio. Studio F, ladies.
Studio F.
Studio F, yes. Last week, Chris, you weren't here. We were out in the big studio.
I saw that. All decorated for Christmas.
It was very strange to be in the big studio, but
we're back in this.
We're back in the tiny room here. To my left, of course, is Chris Rose, returning this week.
Hello.
The actor. You've been very busy acting.
Acting,
yes.
Like I care about Christmas.
Acting like a boss.
Yeah.
That was for you, Mel. And
somebody said that to me the other day.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I saw 50 Shades of Red.
Really?
Oh,
my!
Like a boss.
You don't like that either, huh?
Mm-mm.
And to our right, Lilith Astaroth is our guest this week. Lilith of the band Sour Seed, correct?
Sorrow Seed.
Sorrow Seed. What did I say?
Sour Seed, like
Sour
Sour
Seed?
Patch Kids.
I meant
Sorry, you didn't actually butcher my name though, which
right,
most
right.
people do.
Yeah.
And it's really not that hard to say.
No, it's very easy. I saw Sorrow Seed in my head, but it came out Sour Seed. I don't know why.
Because we're sour people.
We all are around
Our
here.
music is very gloomy and sour.
Well, it's and we're actually going to hear some things in a few minutes. You brought some videos to play.
I did.
Which is very cool. But yeah, tell us about the band. I mean, how do you describe it?
Well, I usually tell people it depends on how much you know about metal, because it's easy enough to just say we're a death metal band. But if you're really into metal, you know that there's all different kinds of subgenres of metal. So then it gets a little more complicated because we don't really fall into one particular niche. There's melodic elements, there's black, there's death, there's doom. So I usually just say it's like a melodic metal band.
Yeah.
And we kind of just our sound is always changing because we like to do different things and we get bored easily. So
yeah.
It's kind of like you can't really like pigeonhole us into one category, but it's extreme metal.
There you go.
Yes.
We'll hear some in a few minutes. I do want to remind everybody, of course, the chat room is open if you'd like to chat with us. Ustreamer 408135 is already in the chat room saying good stuff.
What's your name?
Yes, tell us your name. I have to fix it so that they have to put in a screen name. Yeah. One of these days we'll get that worked out like it used to be.
By that time, we'll be on the other network.
That's right. Yes, the other network.
What other network?
Ooh, I don't know if we can talk about it. It's a big deal.
Top secret.
Yes, it's a big deal.
Nice.
We're gonna be freaking famous.
Hell yeah.
It's really just kind of the same thing in a new location. Anyway, but you can chat with us in the chat room. Hi, I'm masquerading as Glenn. I think that's little Mel. Masquerading as Glenn. And 48135 says it's a secret.
We don't want to know who you are anyway.
Yeah, we don't even care. Yeah, whatever. Also, of course, you can call us or text at 603-344-6491. And I do have Skype open. I already opened it, so we don't get to hear the special sound it makes. I already opened it. I'm
so upset.
I know. Well, you could still call it, though.
Oh, that's true, yes.
You could still call it, and we can dance for a second while you call it, because we love the sounds of Skype.
Let's see.
But
Global eject. We'll be calling you in a moment.
We like the way it sounds when it opens. It's very, very cool. So here we go as we await Chris's call.
We dance to this. Really?
It's not working?
Oh, there we go.
How anticlimactic is this moment?
Very.
Oh, I hear something. I see it. There we go.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, what do you think of those moves, huh?
We need to get that recorded at some point.
Yes.
That is going to be my theme song from now on.
I hope so. So, you're a musician, obviously, and you do a lot of different things. Is Sorrow Seed, is that your main project right now in terms of music, or?
Yeah, that's my main musical project right now. I have a couple of other little collaborations going on, and but that's my main focus right now, and it keeps me pretty busy.
Yeah.
We've been doing a lot the last couple of years. We just put out an album, a double disc album, actually on the 21st, which was the day of the apocalypse.
I remember. Yes.
And that album is entitled The Extinction Prophecies, appropriately enough. and we're already working on our second release, and so we've been pretty busy with that. We did our first tour last year. It was a Halloween tour, and it was one of the stops was up here in Manchester, which was cool. We played at a place called Millie's Tavern.
Yep, I know it well.
And that was a really good show. You know, lots of there was a lot of good crowd reception there, a lot of good energy, and you know, it was especially nice for us because, you know, they didn't know who we were. So
right.
I mean, they were just digging it that much. You know, they were that into it, and we left there with a bunch of fans, and it was a lot of fun. So we're definitely hoping to come back to Manchester sometime soon because we love you guys.
Yeah, and we have viewers all over the country, but our strongest base of viewers is in the Manchester area.
Excellent.
So probably most of the people watching this are familiar with Millie's Tavern. It's a great venue.
Yep.
Well, you guys fucking rock.
I have to ask you, you said you put out a double album?
Yeah.
Okay. Now that's interesting. Now, what is it that drove you to do that? Did you just have just so much material to work with? Because most bands I know now, some bands don't even put out full albums anymore. You know, they just put out an EP because it's quicker and cheaper, or they just put a lot of things online on iTunes and whatnot. Why did you decide to do a double album?
Well, actually, Morte McAdver, who isn't here with me, but he's the main composer of the music, he's just like, he is a writing machine. It just, you know, he's one of the rare people that has a gift, and, you know, that he's very prolific with his writing. So, I mean, for him, it was like, you know, it wasn't even that big of a deal, I think. You know, obviously, you know, over a few years, yes, but I mean, we've already got the next album pretty much mostly written already. I mean, just in a short time. I mean, he's very intense, and so, you know, and very thorough. You know, a lot of the songs on the albums, they're these very long epic pieces, you know. A lot of bands just kind of put out the 3 or 4 minute songs, especially when you're talking like more like hardcore metal kind of stuff. But on the slower kind of doomy songs that we have, some of them go up to 8 or 10 minutes. So I mean, they're very, very long compositions, and very involved, and, you know, pretty epic.
With the long songs, do you play those live, or during your live show do you tend to play the shorter ones? Because there's always that, I know from my own experience playing in bands, there's always that concern about, well, if we do this song, are we going to lose them? Is this one too long? Are we going to kind of lose the attention of the crowd? I mean, or do you not worry about it? Does it work out, or you play whatever and people are into it?
It depends on how long of a set we have.
Yeah.
You know? Sometimes we'll get a half-hour set, and then we keep it to the shorter songs. But if we get 45 minutes to an hour, definitely we play the long stuff. And people who know the songs, you know, they're really into it the whole time. So, you know, for those who don't, they're just, it's, you know, it's longer than what some people are used to, but people definitely get into it. You know, it's not, I don't think that we lose people really, because even though there's kind of moments where things slow down, it's kind of, you know, just the calm before the storm again.
Sure.
And you know, and then it just, we're right back there. So yeah.
And what goes on during the live show? I mean, is everybody dressed up? Is everybody sort of
the live show?
Yeah, I mean, what did you have any? You have special effects, or what goes on? Because I haven't seen you on stage yet.
Yeah. So we also fall into the category of theatrical metal.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I don't know how you guys feel, but I believe that when you're in a band, you should dress the part. You know, when people go out to see a show, there is a visual component there. I mean, sure, you could go home and listen to the music. Lots of people just do that. But when you go to see a show live, I mean, I like to give people something more, something extra, you know. I mean, sure, you can get out there in your jeans and like whatever, and you can still play badass music, but that's not how we do things. We like to be dramatic. You know, just what right now is sort of like a small taste, like how I look right now is, you know, sort of like a smaller, lower key kind of version of the things that we do on stage. You know, we all like to wear makeup.
Yeah.
Usually got some like fake blood in there, you know. More recently on the bigger shows, we've been working in some BDSM elements. We've got a big cross of mine that my faithful minion Alfred has put together by hand for me. So we've got cross girls, and you know, it's a lot of fun. Our shows are really involved, and it's definitely going to be entertaining, you know. it's we want people to leave going, wow, that was fucking amazing.
Yeah. Is that something that's evolved over time? I mean, or well, how long has the band been around?
So the full lineup was completed in 2009.
Okay, so a few years.
Yeah, I mean we had some a couple member changes since then, and then we were like inactive for a little bit, but we've been playing out since 2009 with like a little bit of a break in 2010, and then we came back this year, or I mean last year I guess now, 2011 or 2012, right? We're in 2013 now.
Yeah,
Okay.
Barely. Yeah.
Just barely. So yeah, we came back at the beginning of 2012, with a vengeance and with some new members in there, and we definitely kind of stepped up the game a little bit because we started playing bigger shows.
Yeah.
And I like to be entertaining. It's like I feel very at home on stage, so I want to be as theatrical as possible if I can be.
Yeah.
So it's definitely something that's that has evolved a little bit. We didn't always have the S&M stuff in there, but in other aspects of my life, it's prominent. So I thought, why not just combine the two and make it even better? And it's funny because we never have a lack of female volunteers that want to do this. They're like, can I be on the cross, please? I'm just like, sure. Do you want me to beat the fuck out of you on stage in front of a bunch of people? Fuck yeah.
Can I be on the cross? Sorry. Or is it girls only?
I don't know. We haven't had a guy yet.
Okay.
Well, there you go.
We'll talk.
There you go.
Well, the last time a guy got up on the cross, that didn't end well.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Well, it was part of his destiny, though. So whether or not it ended well depends on your point of view. If you think about it.
Yeah, it's true, yes.
Because he did that, we all get a free pony or whatever it says in the Bible. So
you haven't read it, have you?
I went to Catholic school, but I haven't read a Bible recently, so I don't remember
Catholic
most
school,
of it.
You poor thing.
I know, right? It actually wasn't too bad.
Really?
Grade 2 to grade 8. It actually was. It wasn't like the old school where they hit you with a ruler on the knuckles.
Everything in Latin.
Yeah, it wasn't. None of that.
My mom went to a school like that, and she had the nuns with the rulers, and they would make them kneel on like pencils and things like that. And,
wow.
Oh yeah. And my mom's definitely has never been the same.
Wow. So does your mother? Is she supportive of what you do?
Yes and no. She doesn't know, she doesn't understand a lot of the particular things. She's grown to accept things over time.
Yeah.
This started when I was a kid. My interest in music has been prevalent since I was a child. I mean, I started playing piano at age 5.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
wow.
They knew I had an interest. My parents knew I had an interest in music, so they definitely supported it. And then later on I moved to guitar and singing, and around my teenagers when I kind of discovered more extreme types of music, and I was like, wow, this is great, these are like some of my new idols and stuff like that, and I just kind of adopted this weird kind of style, and I was always one of the nerdy kids anyway that didn't fit in, didn't have any friends, got made fun of, everyone thought I was weird or they were afraid of me anyway, so I was like, oh, I'll just embrace this. So my parents were kind of weirded out at that point, and they kind of tried to talk me out of a lot of things I was doing, just the way I dressed and presented myself. My mother was convinced it was going to be a phase.
Really?
And even now, 10 years later, I still get shit like, oh, you're still doing this or whatever. But, even though she doesn't really particularly like the type of music it is, she does support it, and she is proud of me for, the accomplishments. So I know that I have her support in a way. My parents were supportive the whole time. When I first said I wanted to be in a band, I put together my first band when I was almost 15, and they let us practice in their living room, like not in the basement or the attic, like just boom, right there in the middle of the house. Like we cleared away the couches, and it was fucking loud. I to this day I can't believe that they were that cool.
Really?
How many people's parents would really do that?
That is very
put
cool.
up with that shit. For a long time. So thank you, Mom and Dad.
That is very cool. It's funny, I was just thinking when you said, she thought it was a phase, it's like whenever somebody's kid starts wearing a lot of black, that's always a phase.
Yeah.
Black clothes always a phase. Yeah.
They'll grow out of it.
They'll put on a something red or green or something at some point. Everything will be fine. Probably at Christmas, red and green. So, you mentioned too. So you got into your teenage years, and you discovered some music that you liked, and you had these new heroes. Like, who were they? Who were your early influences? What's some of the stuff you discovered that you really liked?
Well, going back to the beginning of my first exposure to music when I was about 8 years old, I had a sister who was a decade older than me. So she was a child of the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
So I was introduced to some of the best music like there is, like she listened to stuff like Motley Crue, old Metallica, Poison, Guns N' Roses, stuff like that. So I think I had a really good foundation. And like in that, some of the first bands I was listening to were like Megadeth and Metallica and Motley Crue and stuff. So so that was where things kind of started for me. And then later on in high school, I discovered through, a friend of mine was really into Nirvana. So it was actually that band that kind of inspired me to pick up a guitar and play guitar. I thought Kurt Cobain was pretty cool, and like, it's funny now because I don't even listen to Nirvana anymore,
really?
And I kind of think he was a dumbass, but like, back then I was just like, wow, this is great. I dyed my hair pink and tried to like dress like him and shit. So he was one of my first role models, and my parents didn't appreciate that because of the whole suicide thing. They were like,
right.
What an asshole! Like, can't you find somebody better to like? I mean, shit like that,
Parents are like that. I mean, I don't have any kids myself, but I've noticed parents. If you start idolizing someone who killed themselves, they get all uptight about it. I don't know what it is.
I don't know. But so, right off the bat, they didn't like the kind of stuff I was listening to as I got older. Another artist that had a pretty big effect on my style was Marilyn Manson.
Yeah.
And I mean, in the height of his like Antichrist superstar days, this was like the late '90s and stuff. That was like, that was when I was really starting to be fully immersed in the world, of music, and just I breathed it, so it was like, it was really, it was funny because this was back when, his performances would get the Christian protesters and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so I would sneak going to his shows, and one time out in, what was it, Fitchburg, I don't even know what arena it was in anymore, but out in Fitchburg he was at. And they had like a camera crew filming the Christians and stuff like that. And I just remember trying to avoid the camera crew because I didn't want my parents to see me at the
that's
show.
Funny.
Yeah.
That's funny. How old were you at that point?
I don't even remember. I think I was like 15 or 16 or something like that. Like pretty young, to the point where they could have just been like, no, you're staying home,
Right. Yeah.
So, but they, they didn't really catch wind of that, thankfully, and but they hated it. They were, I just started wearing like all this like black lipstick and stuff, and like the torn fishnet shirts and everything, and I mean, it's not really extreme music, but he was an extreme artist, and I liked what he was doing. So, in a way, I could kind of relate to him because it was like he got all this kind of like, people were like just like in awe, but they were also like scared by this person.
Right.
So I kind of went through a lot of that when I was in high school too, just because I started sort of like growing into the embracing the weirdo kind of thing.
Right.
People were just kind of like, oh, that girl's a psycho.
Well,
stay away from her.
He's really. I don't know if you've read Long.
I have. It's one of my favorite books.
Why can't I say the name? Long Hard Road Out of Hell. I kept wanting to say Long Ride, Long Hard Road Out of Hell.
Yeah.
He really is an American success story in that, you talk about embracing the weirdness. He was able to do that, and when you can do that and then, become famous and wealthy and a superstar, I mean, that's really a great. There's, as much as some people may see him in a negative way, there is something very positive and empowering underneath all that when you consider, him being an outcast and finding a way to make it work for him.
Exactly.
And being successful and being someone people can actually look up to.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it was kind of like, he was definitely a hero for a lot of, kids that just didn't know what to do with themselves, didn't have anyone to relate to. And then all of a sudden, here's somebody showing that it's okay to be different. It's okay to be kind of weird. You know?
Right. So. And to reinvent himself, Brian Warner becomes, this character. And then it reminds me of you know, I'm a Kiss fan. I grew up a Kiss fan, and
Nice.
when Kiss, I'm not quite old enough to remember when they first got really big, but because I kind of caught on to them in the '80s when they were in the non-makeup era, but you know, I go back and I watch footage of how when they were first getting really big, there are all these people saying, "Oh, Kiss, it's an acronym for Knights in Service of Satan or whatever," which is silly. There's nothing about Kiss that's satanic or anything, but it's like you know, I've heard Gene Simmons talk about how they wouldn't necessarily go out of their way to refute any of that, even though they knew it was silly, because also too you're kind of beating everybody at their own game, because you got all these people throwing this negative energy at you saying you're Satan or whatever, but it's also giving you all this publicity
Exactly.
that helps you to become successful. And of course, Marilyn Manson is someone who went through the exact same thing, really.
Right. All publicity is good publicity.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Have you ever had anyone at one of your shows who maybe they're there to see somebody else on the bill and they don't know what to expect from you, and I mean, obviously, you know, you're able to capture people's attention and they like what you're doing, but have you ever had anybody come up to you and say, I didn't like what you did, or I was offended by that, or whatever? Has that ever happened to you?
Not really. I mean, there was one time where we played like a smaller show out in Worcester, and at like Oasis or something like that, this weird little venue, and like there was kind of like there were two separate areas. There was like a bar here, and then there was the show area here, and there were a bunch of like regular people hanging out in the bar area.
Yeah.
So I guess like, you know, there was a couple of chicks out there that probably like weekend warriors or something, and like, you know, they wandered back there to see what was going on and stuff, and then like I guess later on one of my friends heard them talking in the bathroom, like, yeah, that band was like kind of weird. And, like, they were too much like into the visual part of it, and like, yeah, because you know, like I said, you know, we dress up, we do, you know, put the visual aspect in there. But it was just like, it was funny to hear it, because if they actually had listened to the music, you know, instead of just like being like, oh, I don't know if I like this, and like, you know, it's
right,
you would actually see that there is substance there.
Right.
But so I thought that was funny. But no, that's really the only kind of criticism we've gotten really at shows. But I think most of the time people are there to see other bands kind of like us. Maybe not necessarily theatrical, but metal. Yeah. So, you know, they've probably seen crazier shit, you know, like a lot of like black metal bands, like they do the whole like, you know, the spitting of the blood, and just like throwing out animal carcasses and stuff. Like, you know, like we played with Watain, who's a very widely known old school black metal band, and like they actually bring dead animal corpses. Like,
really?
Yeah. And they I mean, to the point where, you know, I've heard that, you know, people in their crew, actually the night that we played with them out in New York, one of their crew members had to go to the hospital because he got an infection in his arm.
Oh my God!
These dead animals. You know.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. So I mean, we don't do anything like that. Like, we
I don't blame you.
Carcasses on stage. I am an animal lover. You know, like I'm not going to bring out some like, you know, dead rabbits or squirrels or whatever for like
a diseased dead animal.
Yeah.
Nothing can go right.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. I would like to try to do some blood spitting, though. I mean, I don't know how Gene Simmons does it, but he's got some, like, you know, some range.
Yeah. It's that long tongue of his. It helps him to propel it, I guess, or something.
I've tried to actually look into how he does it, but it's kind of hard to find, like, info on it. It's just, like, you know, it'll be, like, videos of him doing it instead. But there's definitely some kind of trick to it, because I can't, you know, project that far myself.
Now, who do you listen to now? Who are some of the people you're into now?
Well, I kind of like, I still stick to a lot of the stuff that I used to listen to before, because a lot of newer music hasn't really impressed me. So I mean, I tend to listen to a few bands just like off the top of my head. I mean, I'm a huge Pantera fan. Always have been, always will be. R.I.P. Dime, you know, that one hit home like pretty hard for me. I really like Children of Bodom, like old Children of Bodom. And his Alexi, one of his side projects was called Synergy, and it has it's like more like kind of like power metal. It has a female vocalist, and she's fucking awesome. And who else? Amon Amarth is is always good. They're just like really like heavy chugging, like Viking metal. I saw those guys live and they're fucking like huge. They're like 8 feet tall.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, really cool, and just stuff like that. Like I said, I mean, I try to listen to new music. I go on Last FM every once in a while.
Yeah.
You can find Sorrow Seed on Last FM, by the way.
Excellent.
And so it's kind of like a Pandora service, and you can listen to bands and stuff. But I usually don't hear anything that grabs my attention. Like, it kind of all sounds like crap for the most part. Like, what do you guys think about newer music?
I think in any genre, it's just gotten boring. I go to rock, pop, and it's all starting to sound the same to me. And
I think my theory about that is I don't think it's because I think people think of it as, oh, music used to be good. When I was growing up, it used to be good, and now it all sounds the same. I think I think the industry has always had that sort of natural inclination to homogenize everything. I mean, we saw it with grunge, after a while, a lot of it starts to sound the same, or post-grunge or hair metal, certainly. A lot of those bands started to sound alike in the 80s. I think it just kind of becomes a conveyor belt because at the end of the day, it is a business. And I think in any era, you really have to go. We have a lot of independent, unsigned artists on IPMNation.com. And of course, there's tons of, like Last FM. And, there's tons of resources out there, Reverb Nation, and all kinds of places you can go. And college radio, which I love college radio, because you hear all kinds of stuff that hasn't been through a major label, homogenization.
Right.
So everything starts to sound the same. So that's my theory. I think people as we get older, we naturally feel like, oh, it's all starting to sound the same, when in reality is, as you get older, the more music you hear, the more you're hearing things that have already been done because, God forbid anyone take a chance and do something different.
Yeah.
People like familiarity. Unfortunately.
Yeah, it's definitely true. I mean, one of the good things about
familiarity, because what works, so they're going to mass produce that and sell millions of records.
Absolutely.
And overplay it on radio.
Little Mel's in the chat room masquerading as Glenn says, this is the problem that happens at goth clubs. A lot of the old school goth kids will complain that none of the old stuff gets played, yet when it does, it basically clears the floor. Plus, that old stuff was the new stuff at one point. A lot of kids clubbing aren't even old enough to remember half of the old stuff. Yeah, that's true.
20 years from now, we're going to look fondly back at One Direction.
No. We won't even remember them. I draw the line there.
Yeah.
And I respect all kinds of music. I don't bash anything, or anything that someone somewhere likes. If it means something to them, then it's valid. But I always encourage people, check out independent music, check out local bands, go online, explore. There's tons and tons of great internet radio stations.
Yes.
Yeah,
IPMNation.com.
Exactly.
I have yet to check it out, but I definitely will.
You should, because we added 2 of your tracks in a rotation.
Awesome!
So now, how can people get in touch with you, or where can they find your music?
Good question. So we have a couple different places that you can check out the music streaming for free. If you go to sorrowseed.com, we had kind of, we just link to all of those sites. We're on Last FM. We're also on Reverb Nation. We have a lot of stuff up on there. And if you're so inclined, please do. We're also on iTunes, so it's easy enough to, if you have an iPhone, just search for Sorrow Seed. You'll find the albums. One of them has kind of like a blue cover art, and the other one has a red cover piece on it. And so, I mean, we try to just get our stuff out there, and if any local stations are willing to play us, we'll always submit tracks and stuff. And we have a Facebook page too, but obviously you can't get the music from Facebook. You can I believe they have a place where you can play it, but it streams from our Reverb Nation anyway.
Okay.
So the best place is probably Reverb Nation. I think if you join the mailing list, you can download a couple for free. Also on Last FM, if you make an account, you can download a couple songs for free. We put a couple things up there to kind of encourage people to give it a listen. And I mean, we keep our stuff updated a lot. We've always got announcements of some kind, whether they're studio related or show related. We're probably gonna be on a couple of good shows in the near future. I can't say anything quite yet about that.
Oh, okay.
But
all right.
but we do have some good stuff on the horizon. Really excited. I've been working with Dan Malloy out in New York, Long Island.
That name is familiar to me.
Well,
Is he
he's
a
I guess
producer or?
he's an engineer and
Okay.
he's worked with a lot of bands.
Yeah.
And he's also an amazing singer too. So it's great because he's kind of like, he's instead of not really giving any input, sometimes when you go in the studio and record, if people aren't familiar with what you're doing, vocally or whatever, they're just gonna let you do it and stuff. But
Right.
he'll always kind of interject and say, oh, I think it would be good if you did this instead, or like,
Yeah.
or I say, well, I have this idea in my head, can we do this? And I mean, it's great because he knows exactly, what I mean. And, being a singer himself, he's a great vocal coach. And the new songs are sounding like even more badass.
Really?
And
Yeah.
I can't wait. Like, hopefully we're going to have one of them ready for release in the next like month or two, just as kind of like a teaser.
Yeah.
But they're definitely way more epic and heavy than the previous stuff. So we're really excited about that.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, you brought some videos.
I did.
So we're gonna play 3 of them, I think. And what are they? What are the names of the tracks?
I think is Legless the first one? Yeah. So the first one is a video that we did, a music video for a film called Legless that was by the Boston Film Family.
Wow.
It's kind of like a theme song for the film. If you watch what's going on, it's just kind of like it's the movie in a nutshell. It's a really funny drinking comedy. So that's what that one is.
Very cool.
Yeah. I recommend checking that one out. It's an indie movie, so you'd have to go to Boston Film Family on Facebook to check that one out. But it was a lot of fun. Myself and Morte have little cameos in it. And so that's the first video. And are you gonna play them all at once?
Yeah, we'll just play all 3 of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then so the next one is our video for Ocean Scorn, which we put out last year, and that was done by Rory Gory Pictures. And it was filmed partially by her in Cape Cod, and the other part of it was filmed by me when I went to Iceland a couple of years ago. Yeah, Iceland's really beautiful, and it was very inspiring. And I went to a place called Vik that had black sand beaches as far as the eye could see, and I was like,
Black sand, really?
Black sand,
No
like
kidding.
pitch black.
Wow.
And I mean, just like really
I
fine.
didn't know that existed.
Yeah, it's amazing. You
Huh.
know, I guess out in like Hawaii you can find them too, but not the same. Like, I mean, because Iceland's a volcanic island. You know, there's active volcanoes. You know,
I was gonna
on
say
it,
it sounds like it's a volcanic, like a.
It's like a
after-
sediment kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's really amazing. It's really something. And you know, I was like, all right, this has to be in a Sorrow Seed music video.
Yeah.
So it's a combination of stuff that was shot in Iceland and Cape Cod. Another thing that you can see in the Iceland part of the footage is this place called the Blue Lagoon. And a very interesting phenomenon happens there. It's in the middle of a molten lava field. And so over time, it produces naturally this pure white silicone gel. So it coats everything. And it looks, at first I thought it was like somebody came in and like painted, you know, and then I was like, no, that's not what's going on. It's impossible. Like, you know, no one came in here and like painted this stuff on these rocks, but it's really very remarkable. I mean, people from all over the world go to the Blue Lagoon, and I guess the silicone gel has like properties in it that are good for your skin.
Oh, really?
So people with skin conditions go there and bathe in it and stuff.
Oh, wow.
And, like you can buy the silica mud and everything. Yeah. So it's really an amazing place. I definitely recommend going to Iceland if you like to travel and you're looking for someplace really beautiful and you like nature. Go to Iceland. It's not far from here in New England, and you know, I think it's like 5.5, maybe 6 hours, and you know, reasonably priced flight. And yeah, Iceland. And,
all right.
Yeah. And the final video, sorry, I got off on a tangent about Iceland, but it's beautiful.
That's all right.
The third video.
Black sand, sorry.
The third video is a live show from the Webster in Connecticut from a show that we did on the Unhallowed Reaping Tour earlier this year. So I hope you guys enjoy.
Very cool. All right, so we're going to play those, and then we'll come back and chat some more. So 3 tracks from Sorrow Seed with Lilith Astaroth here on Matt Connarton Unleashed.
Yeah!
Unleashed. Studio F.
Studio F, ladies.
One more toast and it's back to sobriety, so here's to it.
Yeah, last one toast, that's all we need.
To great friends.
To new friends. To and commerce.
I need to find a more constructive hobby.
Let's think of family.
Anybody have any marshmallows?
Eat dog shit, Smiley.
Too shit that cleans up after 30 years. It's always up to college to party and drink beer. Oceans are like a many need to fuck a Spanish man. It's a week on this place you gotta lose once again. Pretty soon the neighbor came a knocking at the door. Don't worry, it was too loud and he could not take anymore. Bullshit gave him a drink because it was a cultural home. Word after dozen for the witness team on Connarton. Live at the strip, get inside. And everyone was feeling ratchet. But it's in there, never actress door. The actor decide what you want that body. The ex-writer just took her away. One no could have known what the could have ever get us. The trio and unfortunately I just supposed to live. When they drop it in the harbor, it's like it's a tiny bit. The shit was fun to give me, I had to do it for me. And so they saw the help of a lost on the chain. And those of this you have to resort to the not to stand out. Don't put up like a human rejection instead. Quicker with the cause you walked up and split two ways. But for a murderous head, where the fuck are you? Only the exit fears of people do my teaching the shit. Look goes back to life on it. That's why we take the door. Those shades not anymore than the pattern anymore. Banging a drunken hate war. It's just not that. Taking a blue government, these things can bring you down. And if you're scratching your balls out with distress, believe the only way to have your revenge. Looking your nemesis straight past the head. When you feel down, the bats can't fucking sense the fucking wood. Drown my time, a place with a titan submerged. Downtrodden seas home to schools of debris, where mothers' nightmares converge. Choked upon self, it locked itself, erosion, laws of the shores. A maelstrom of terror, from the gulf below. Sediment in the wind, corruption within. Vessels will fill to their depths. Painted by oil, the Shut your tongues. Nothing will be complete. I will drink your remorse as your bones make the stars. Tonight, my cancerous roots never flash the sun.
you, Carl.
One more toast and it's back to sobriety, so here's to it.
Yeah, last one toast, that's all we need.
To great friends.
To new friends. Bad karma. Bad karma.
Oh, there we go. There we go. All right, we're back. All right, we almost went back in time to about 15 minutes ago. Welcome back to Matt Connarton Unleashed. We just saw some clips. Lilith Astaroth, of course, from Sorrow Seed, and a couple of videos there, and a live clip from the Webster Theater in is that in where in Connecticut is that? Is that at Hartford?
Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say I've been there, but I've only been there once. So, so what do you have coming up in the future? Are you touring right now, or are you working on recording the next disc, or what's?
Yeah, so right now we are in the recording process, and happy to say that we have all of the instrumental stuff completed. So all that's left now is the vocal recording, which I have begun with Dan Malloy.
Mhm.
And once that's finished, the mixing process begins, and hopefully we'll have it out. I don't want to make any promises yet because there's always delays and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
we're hoping to have it out sometime, maybe by the summer, hopefully, definitely by the fall. So we're working on that right now, and we've got a new photo shoot coming up with Glenn Perry, which we're excited about. He's one of my favorite photographers. And so that's going to be later this month, and we are also going to be getting back to shows in the spring. Right now we're taking kind of a break so we can focus our energy on doing this stuff. And especially me, it's kind of like I like to have my head in the game, like if I'm playing shows, or if I'm kind of like in show mode, it's harder to be in recording mode, or if I'm in recording mode, like I'm not thinking so much about shows.
Yeah. That's
So-
interesting, because I was going to ask you if that's difficult, because I know for some people that's very difficult when you have to really kind of hunker down and focus on recording to not play out.
Yeah.
But you're able to kind of just put yourself in that mode where you're not.
Yeah, we were trying to do both, play shows while we were recording, and it was we were able to do it, but it was a little bit stressful
Mhm.
because the recording schedule was pretty hectic for a little while. It's less hectic now, but back a few months ago, it was it was every week, we were down there, and also trying to keep all the show information organized,
Right.
and with shows there's always extra stuff like bands dropping last minute and like, hey, do you know anybody that wants to play, like promoters asking you to bring in somebody or whatever. So plus it's wintertime right now, and
Yeah.
we hate winter. It's not a
I
good
know.
time to be like bringing all of your gear through all of the like snow that we've
Yeah.
I mean, just on the way over here, getting out of the car was like kind of a hassle. Like
Icy
you had the big
sidewalks.
snow
Yeah.
banks and everything.
Yeah.
So it was a good, it coincided that we were in the studio now, because now we're just kind of like in hibernation mode from
Mhm.
shows right now a little bit. And but we're already starting to talk about putting together some things for the spring. So keep an eye out on the Facebook page is where we do the announcements. It's facebook.com/sorrowseed, and like us, because we like
Mhm.
we like seeing our numbers climb
Yeah,
up.
absolutely. How did you learn to sing like that? Because you do that. It sounds, for someone like me who has no idea how I would sing like that if I were to attempt it. How do you learn to do that?
Well, I mean, I started a long time ago when I put together my first band. My kind of, like I said, back at that age, I was kind of trying to imitate like Kurt Cobain a little bit.
Yeah.
So I mean, he screams a lot in his stuff, and I don't know. I mean, looking back on it now, his style of screaming is so different than anything else that I listen to. But that's kind of and I listen to like bands like White Zombie and
Mhm.
Pantera, and just more like gritty kind of stuff. And I was just trying to emulate my idols kind of, and that was just. I just opened my mouth and started doing it,
Yeah,
I've always been like a loud, obnoxious kid. I was always like running around screaming anyway, and at first it was kind of, I don't remember really. I don't think it really like I got hoarse very much, but you know, there's definitely a right way and a wrong way to do it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know, you just got to support your sound and practice and you know when to stop if it is hurting. Not
Yeah.
everybody can do it. But you know, I always do encourage people who are interested in doing it to try it. And but you know, just make sure you do a little bit of research first. I mean, it's really pretty basic. It's the same kind of thing that you would learn from a vocal coach or a vocal instructor of like any genre. Even in acting, you know, like stage acting, they teach you then, or public speaking. You know, you gotta project your voice, but you also have it has to come from here,
Right.
not here.
Right. Exactly.
Because if you know your larynx is a little tiny thing, so
Yeah.
power has to come from your diaphragm,
Yeah.
or else that's how you get hurt. I mean, it doesn't have to be screaming either. You can hurt yourself if you're just talking too
Oh,
much.
sure.
You know, you ever go to a club and you try to talk to people over the music, and you get
Yeah.
home and you're like, oh man. You know, that's actually more
yeah.
often the time that I'll come home with a sore throat.
Right.
Is if I'm like yelling all night over you know, loud music, and I don't realize I'm not supporting it. You know, I'll come home and my throat hurts.
Exactly. Exactly. Where are you based out of? Where are you from?
Boston.
Boston. Okay. What's the furthest the band has gone as far as touring? Where have you been?
Well, we were supposed to get down to Philly during our tour,
Yeah.
but the hurricane screwed that up for us.
Yeah.
That happened during our first tour ever. It's funny because, like, you know, we've always had these weird kind of like natural disasters going on when there's anything big that's like sorrow seed related.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
it's like, oh, all right, well. So let's see, I guess the furthest probably would be we played up in Maine earlier last year. I think that was probably the furthest, unless maybe Coney Island was,
really?
further. Yeah, Coney Island was awesome.
Really?
Yeah, Necromancer Productions put that out. This guy named Ozzy. He puts together some good shows, and you know, I had never been down there before. I don't know if you guys have.
I have never been to Coney Island.
No,
Have you?
I've been
It's
in
so
New York a few
cool.
times, but never to Coney Island.
It was really cool, and I actually really don't like New York at all. Like I hate New York with
Really?
passion. Yeah, it's dirty and just loud, and there's
Yeah.
trash everywhere. I don't like it.
Yeah.
But now that I've been to Coney Island, I'm like, whoa, here's a place of New York City that I actually really love.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
so cool, you know. It's got, I mean, it's historic, and you know, I mean, just going there is really fun. They've got this long like beach and stuff, and you know, you can go catch a freak show if you want. You know, we spent a day down there, and it was a lot of fun.
Oh,
That
that's
was
cool.
definitely one of the highlights of last year.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Even though the show itself was kind of small,
Yeah.
you know, we get there and the stage is like the size of this table.
Yeah.
You know, and I was lucky that they had kind of like this little box I could stand on that was outside of the little platform. Because
yeah.
otherwise, I was gonna have to like, you know, be on the floor or something because there was just no room.
Right. Right.
It was in this tiny little bar, but it was a lot of fun. Definitely glad we did that.
Yeah. And we should mention too, because you are a woman of many talents. You do some other
Thank you.
stuff too, correct?
Mm-hmm.
What else do you do that people should know about?
Well, I guess probably the thing that I'm most recognized for, aside from metal, is I like to do a lot of alternative style modeling,
Mhm.
fetish modeling, latex especially. Latex. Ooh, shiny. Shiny. I really like the feel of the material. It looks great, you know, and everybody loves it. So, you know, it's a lot of fun doing that. What else? I mean, I do a lot of performances around New England and beyond. I like to kind of just perform wherever I can.
Mhm.
You know, I like to dance, so a lot of my performances are dance related
Mhm.
as a go-go dancer, or you know, just some kind of like fetishy performances that involve dance. And
Yeah.
last year I actually performed up in Montreal Fetish Weekend with Vengeance Designs, and that was really cool. It was kind of a collaboration between my friends who both design latex, Vengeance Designs and Donna Matrix Designs. That was really fun. I got to be like a Japanese demon.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, very cool.
and chase
Wow.
after these little geisha girls. And
Yeah.
of course, there was blood in that show as well.
Yeah.
But that was a lot of fun. Montreal Fetish Weekend is definitely my favorite of all of the fetishy events, you know, on the East Coast. And that, you know, it's just they do things right up in
Yeah.
Montreal.
Wow.
You know, that is something I also recommend to people like who are interested in that sort of thing. Like, definitely check out Montreal Fetish Weekend. It'll blow your mind.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it costs a few $100 to do the trip, but it's so
Yeah.
worth it. You come back and you're just like, your mind's just blown wide open.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so much fun. On the last day, or it's like Sunday, they do it. They everybody dresses up in their fetish gear. I mean, like, a couple hundred people usually come out and do it, and then like we just like storm the city that way. Just like take
Really?
over, take over
Wow.
the subway and just like
Yeah.
like this year we did like an outdoor fountain kind of thing. So like a group of like a couple hundred fetish freaks come up in like rubber and just like it was such a spectacle. It was so much fun. It was great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What do you find the most rewarding between
rewarding?
like with that and the music?
That's
I mean,
a good
is there?
question. I think definitely the music, because it's something that's always been a part of me.
Yeah.
You know, I've been a musician since I was a kid, and but I really love performing
Yeah.
on stage. I feel that I'm at my best when I am performing, and it's kind of like it's all about the energy. It's an energy that you give, but that you also get back.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing like it, the energy exchange that goes on between yourself and a crowd of people that are enjoying it, and it's just I feel that I get to kind of channel a lot of, sometimes I mean we've all got negative energy.
Oh, yeah.
And I think one of the reasons I initially was drawn to start a band, a heavy band, was also because I was very frustrated. As a kid growing up, I had a lot of frustration and anger growing up.
Yeah.
And that was a really good way for me to get it out in a non-violent manner.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
Creating something.
yeah, I mean these
Yeah.
days I'm less of an angry, angsty person. I'm actually quite happy. But it's still a really good kind of just release, and I really get into the moment when I'm up on stage,
Yeah.
and it's just like you're just like flourishing, and it's just so much fun. And it's not lucrative, it's not financially rewarding at all. If anything, all we do is pour money into it.
Right. Yeah. It's hard.
We're not signed. We completely funded our tour. Like, that was self-funded. We did a Kickstarter, and thank you to everybody who donated on the Kickstarter. We were able to raise a few $100, and then we kind of had to put the rest in ourselves, because Kickstarter won't give it all to you unless you come up with a full amount. But I mean, we lost a lot of money on that, especially Morte. He had a lot of gear just suddenly like break down on him.
No,
Within
really.
the first couple days, he just had like terrible luck. It was,
Wow.
it was rough, and so I mean, we kind of like went broke doing the tour, but it was fun, and I mean, recording's extremely expensive.
It is,
you
yeah.
know? So I mean, it's not financially rewarding at all, but it's very rewarding, to do the work, and it's
Yeah.
very rewarding to play the shows and to give that to other people and to share what we like to do. So just knowing that other people enjoy it too, like that's enough for me. That's all that we want, really. Like, I mean, sure, it would be nice to make a little money eventually, just so we can kind of like recoup some of our costs, but
Sure.
we're not going to stop just because we're not making any money.
Right.
I
I think if you keep at it, you'll get there. I really do. I think you got a good thing going here.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
And you're getting the Matt Connarton Unleashed bump.
Fuck yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we're going to bring little Mel in also, if she's ready. She's going to come in and she can kind of squeeze into the picture here, because she has an announcement about something coming up on IPMNation.com. She's gonna sit with
sit right here.
Yeah.
she's gonna sit on Chris,
Sorry,
and
still gay right now. but-
Chris is gay, but maybe by the time little
He'll
Mel's
choose to
done
be
her
straight.
announcement, yeah.
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 I actually want to point out the first time I met Lilith was actually we did a fashion show for Vengeance Designs.
Oh, okay.
So that was the first time I ever met her.
Yeah.
And Vengeance.
Vengeance.
They made my outfit that I wore on the
Oh,
red
okay.
and black one.
Oh,
that I
the
had.
latex. Yep.
And they made my Snow White out. I should say she made, because
Yeah.
it's one person.
Shout outs to Lydia and Vengeance. Oh, she also made these gloves.
She's very, very talented.
Yes,
Definitely check
Vengeance
her out.
Designs.
She's very talented. So my announcement is I am going to be starting my very first podcast ever. And it's called No Boundaries, and it's going to be discussions on topics pertaining to sex and gender, sexuality, body image, relationships, and BDSM. In fact, February, I'm doing Kinkster Month, where I'm going to be doing all BDSM topics. I already have a few guests lined up for the upcoming months. And the first one is going to be recorded on January 14th. Not quite ready to do a live podcast yet, so this guy's going to help me out here. My first topic is going to be polyamory, so I'm going to be talking a lot about my views on polyamory and just a lot of the facts on it and whatnot. So
Yes.
that's going to be, I'm going to be doing this every other week, so I'm really excited about it. And nervous, really excited, really nervous.
And it will be on IPMNation.com.
Yes. Yeah. Will I have a slash thingy? Like slash
You will. It'll be IPMNation.com/no boundaries.
awesome.
Excellent. Can't wait to hear it.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'm gonna get off
And
of
congratulations.
Exciting.
Chris before he turns straight.
Are you straight
Yeah, I
now,
know.
Chris?
It was. She was about 1 minute away.
Really? No
One-
kidding.
Like 60 seconds.
No kidding.
It's true.
Well, we'll start to wrap up. I also want to mention, too, don't forget the radio edition of Matt Connarton Unleashed, Saturday nights at 11 p.m. Eastern Time. And my guest coming up this Saturday is going to be Lorelei Arisis. Did I say that right?
You did.
Thank you. First Miss Trans New England. She's also a columnist. She has, it's called Ask a Trans Woman in the Northampton, Massachusetts Rainbow Times. She worked on recent transgender civil
Yes.
rights laws. Thank you. She's spoken at the State House in Massachusetts, I assume?
Yes.
Okay. And she teaches improv to LGBTIQ youth. And what is the IQ in the LGBT?
Intersex.
Intersex. What's the Q?
Questioning.
Questioning,
or
right,
queer,
right.
depending on who you ask.
Okay, very good. Well, it's New Hampshire. We don't say queer. We say queer.
Queer.
It's wicked queer. But so Lorelei will be my guest via phone this coming Saturday night on the live radio edition of Matt Connarton Unleashed. So Lilith, thank you very much for being here
Thank
with
you
us.
very much.
Please refresh everyone's memory on where to find you online, where to find Sorrow Seed. I almost did it again.
You almost did it.
Why
You
do
were
I
close.
almost did it. Sorrow Seed online and all that.
Sorrowseed.com, LilithAsteroth.com. You can Google either one of these things. We're on Facebook, YouTube, Reverb Nation, and Last.fm. Both me and Sorrowseed are on all of these networking sites, and Twitter. So find us on all of them, like us on all of them, help spread the word. We appreciate it, and metal for life.
Very good. Sounds good to me. Lilith, thank you. Chris Rose, as always. Will we see you Friday? Will you be here?
I will
Friday?
be back returning to We'll Let It Large Gone Global.
We'll
on
Let It
Friday.
Large Gone Global Friday night. Glenn is very happy. Glenn's very happy. Let It Large Gone Global Friday night at 8 p.m. on IPMNation.com and QCNews.com in Studio A, unlike this show, which we do in Studio F.
Studio.
And what else? Oh, and when does Verbal Ejaculation return?
Verbal Ejaculation will be returning on Sunday, January 20th at 9:30 p.m. We're doing it. We're coming back just the day before Martin Luther King because most people have that day off. So we figured if we want to do an extra long special, we can do it that day.
And I will
Yes.
be calling in from the Boston Waterfront Hotel.
Yes.
While I'm sad that she will not be able to make it, she will be at the Boston Waterfront Hotel.
At
Yes.
Aresia.
At Aresia, yes. What is Aresia again, for those who don't know?
Aresia is
A nerd con!
It's a nerd con. It's the biggest
If your
sci-fi
Aresia lasts more than
fantasy
4 hours.
convention in the Northeast.
I didn't hear most of that. I was laughing at Chris's joke. I don't know if you heard it.
It's a nerd fest.
Yeah, it's the biggest sci-fi fantasy convention in the Northeast.
Oh, okay.
So it's awesome.
Very
Good times.
Which incarnation of the Doctor are you going as?
I might do 11 only because it's easier.
Bow ties are cool.
Yeah.
I have no idea. No idea. I'm not a Whovian. I have no idea.
Well,
Nor have I ever worn a bow tie.
give us time.
No. But I did used to have to dress up at Catholic school when I was a kid, but no bow ties. All right, so that will do it for tonight's television edition of Matt Connarton Unleashed. Is there a new Amsterdam tonight?
No new Amsterdam tonight. I believe they are on hiatus until next week.
All right. Well, watch anyway. Maybe they'll replay the Christmas one that we were on.
Yes,
So,
briefly.
yeah. True. Well, whatever. Watch anyway. It's a
Yeah.
great show.
They're our buddies.
Yes, yes. All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll talk at you soon. Take us out, Glenn.